everybody, welcome back. Hope you're all keeping well. Now, we're all familiar with servicing our locos, making sure they're all in tip-top working condition. But what about our rolling stock? Coaches, wagons, how do we keep them going? We're also going to have a look at Hunt Couplings, and I'm going to be fitting them to some of my rolling stock. So let's get stuck in, have a look at how we maintain our rolling stock. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for me and give me the old thumbs up. And if you've got any comments or questions on this, put them down below. Now let's get started. So I've got a couple of examples of rolling stock here. I've got a wagon and a coach. This is a Pullman coach, so it's got the lights inside. So we've got some pickups that we need to clean as well on here. Now, why do we need to do maintenance? Well, obviously it's going to cut down on derailments. Also, it'll help keep the track clean because as these go round, they pick up dirt, and that's dirt that they're going to put back down on the track again. So as we keep the wheels on the locos and everything pristine because they want the electrical pickups to work and to run smoothly, and you do the same on these just to stop derailments. So same as locos, we're just going to take some IPA or the cleaner of your choice, and we're just going to clean the wheels. Same as we would with your locos. So just spin it round with the cotton bud dipped in IPA. And there you can see the dirt that's coming off. And that's just off one wheel, off one wagon. And these wagons are relatively new. I've only had them since Christmas, so they haven't had that much running, and you can see how dirty they are already. So we'll just continue that. The other wheel. And you can see how much dirt is coming off. So you can see why it's important to do, because if dirt builds up on the wheels, it causes little bumps. It's going to hop around on the rails, cause derailments. So we'll just finish cleaning off the four wheels on here. Now I picked up this wagon, it didn't look particularly dirty, but as soon as I started cleaning it, you can see the dirt that's coming off. Now the other thing we need to check with these is the back-to-backs, so that's the space between the wheels. Because obviously if that's wrong, it won't fit on the track properly, and again it will cause derailments. So I got a little back-to-back tool here. I got mine from DCC Concepts. It's a little brass tool. You can get them all over the place. Some people do 3D printed ones. It's up to you where you get one. Sort of thing you pick up at shows, that sort of thing. And all we're going to do is just put it between the wheels. And we can see there that the back-to-backs are correct. So it should fit snugly in between the wheels, so we know that's correct. You can see that there. Okay. So that's really all you need to do on the wagon, okay? We'll come to the Hunt Couplings later, because that's an additional thing you can do to help avoid derailments. So with the coach, it's the same thing. Now with this coach here, it's got pickups, which are running on the wheels. So not only do we need to clean the surface of the wheels there, because obviously these are probably going to get dirtier than normal rolling stock because it's got electrical pickups. The electrostatic force can cause more things to adhere to the wheels and get dirtier quicker. And again, it's the same old thing. We'll check the back-to-backs, we'll clean the wheels, we'll also clean the contacts, and you can see where they go on the axle of the wheels here. We're also going to clean the axles, and that will improve the running of the coach and also the electrical pickup. So we got another cotton stick, and again, it's the same, clean the wheels. But on this, we're also going to clean the axle. And you can see there's a little bit of dirt on the axle there. So we're just going to spin that around and give it a clean. And give the contact a clean as well. And that will improve the electrical pickup, so you won't have as much cutting out. Now, some of these coaches do have capacitors in them to help with, to stop the light flicker. So I'll just clean the other axle. And you can see the sort of dirt that's coming off there. So I'm going to carry on and clean all these wheels, and then I'll come back to you when it's done. So I've cleaned all the wheels and all the pickups on this, and you can see from there the dirt that was on those wheels. Same, use the back-to-back, pop that between the wheels, and you can see it fits in nice and snugly, so we know that's the correct width for the rails. Now we're going to have a look at the Hunt couplings and the difference they can make to help avoiding derailments as well. So we'll go over and have a look at that now. Right, you can see here I've got two trains made up now of hoppers. So the hoppers are both the same size. This rake here has got Hunt couplings, the magnetic couplings, keeping them together. And this rake has the traditional drop link. Now what I want to show you here is if I grab, I'll try and keep all this in frame, if I grab the end wagon, see how it all moves as one. Whereas if I do the same, you see you've got that play. Now what can happen there, if your layout like mine has slopes on it and you're running the freight train slowly, these can all bunch up, going down, and then they pull back, going back up. And what can happen there is, especially here where you have different types of couplings, you can see there's a big D-link coupling and a small one there, so that will focus in. You can get it sort of riding up like that. You might get some buffer lock depending how close they are, and of course when it comes around a curve then it's going to pop off the track and derail. So by having the Hunt couplings, now you don't have to be Hunt couplings, KD couplings will do the same thing. It keeps the train more rigid so you don't get that movement that can cause coupling problems and then lead to derailments. So I'm just going to show you now the Hunt couplings and how easy they are to fit. So here we have a hopper wagon, and I'm going to fit a Hunt coupling to this end here. Now this is an easy one to do because this has an NEM pocket here. Now the idea of this pocket is it standardizes the connections on rolling stock. This should also be 8.5mm above the rail height. To swap it over, all we do is we just gently pop it out. Sometimes you might have to get some tweezers in there to squeeze it, but these ones just pulled out. And then we take the Hunt coupling and we just pop it in and push it home, and that's it. That's it in. And if we, so now I've got Hunt coupling on that end, I've got a hopper here, and they'll just hold together. So just magnetic couplings, and then you have no movement. Now the Hunt couplings come in different lengths, so you can get closer coupling if you want. I went for a medium one here, because that should be alright on my curves. If you've got some older rolling stock, like with the old big D couplings, they do couplings as well where you can take these off and the Hunt couplings will fit onto there. I'll put a link down below. It's Westhill Wagon Works who make these couplings. They do a whole range of them for all different wagons and coaches and everything. So you'll be able to look on there. If you're not sure, they do sort of a multi-pack of the different lengths, which you can just order and have a look at and see which ones will work on your layout the best. But I went for the medium lengths for these hoppers, and they seem to work fine. Of course, the great thing about these as well is you don't have to get in there with a hook and uncouple them. When they're on the railway, you can just use the hand of God and just pull them apart. And they are quite strong magnets, and I have a rake of about 15, 16 of these hoppers, and they don't come apart. So that's the Hunt couplings. That's what I've started to use now. Slowly, over the next year, I'll be converting all my rolling stock. So I've converted this coach as well, and you can see here how they've got the style of a Buckeye coupling. So when they join, it looks like a proper coupling. So it sort of masks it a little bit. And you can see how these are different, that they attach by the screw there. So there's all sorts of these couplings for whatever rolling stock you have. And then you just need to replace one on the end of your loco. So what I do with mine, because I'm in the middle of converting, not everything's the same, is one end of the loco will have a Hunt coupling on it, and I'll keep the drop link coupling on the other end. So there we go, guys. You can see how important it is to carry out maintenance on your rolling stock, help cut down on derailments and other issues. I hope you find a little bit on the Hunt couplings useful as well. As I say, over the next year I'm going to be slowly converting all my locos and rolling stock to Hunt couplings. They're so much easier to use the drop links and give you a nice rigid train, which also helps cut down on derailments. So a big thank you to my channel members and patrons, whose names will be scrolling here. And don't forget to give me the old thumbs up, subscribe if you're new here. Got any questions or comments on this? Put them down below. I do love hearing from you guys. I'll pop another video here and here, the old subscribe button in the middle. And as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.